Alright guys, well now you can actually hear me. Even though I spent, 15 minutes talking about what the fuck was going on here. Alright, so, man, where do I... Gotta go back on here. Alright, audio's working now. Let me know if for some reason you still can't hear me. Alright. Anyway, guys. I've been on a cosmic horror kick lately, which is why I'm making this video titled Cosmic Horror 101. Because I feel like cosmic horror is one of the more confusing but also interesting horror genres. A lot of it is adapted from H.P. Lovecraft's work. It's synonymous with Lovecraftian horror. And although not all of his works would tie into what I think is the overarching cosmic horror definition, a lot of his work does stem from that. So I recently watched this Call of Cthulhu movie, black and white silent film from 2005, which was really actually amazing for like that would instantly turn off most people from watching it, but it was actually really fun. And so this, trying to remember everything that I talked about in the last 20 minutes. I found this letterbox list from this Daniel Carroll where it's all H.P. Lovecraft film adaptations. I'm sure there might be some missing, but for the most part, this is a pretty good cohesive list of Lovecraft adaptations. I recently watched Color Out of Space as well. This user rated it a 2.5. I actually enjoyed it way more than that. I rated it a 4. It's really good. It's beautifully shot. It has Nick Cage, an unhinged Nick Cage, which some people complain about, but when he's unhinged, it could be really fun, and it's great in that one. It's about a family who's living out in this rural area on their farmhouse, and all of it, one day, a meteorite just crashes into their front yard, and it infects those things around it, and it's them dealing with that infection. And yeah, the idea is that this item projects a color that can't be comprehensible by human beings. That's why it's a color out of space, not a color that we're used to. And they use like magenta or purple to get that idea across in the movie. But yeah, so it's really like neon, psychedelic as well. Yeah, it's just a really unique film that I really like. Suitable Flesh is also a more recent, kind of bigger, more popular title that adapted a movie called, or a work of Lovecraft's titled The Thing on the Doorstep. Pickman's Model is an episode of Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. Venus, I've never heard of this Venus movie. It's averaging just below a 2.9 or just below a 3.0 on Letterboxd. It's only got 21 ratings though, so and also let me know if if you can't read this, I'd like for you guys to be able to read it. But from people that I follow, only one person has rated it. They rated it a 1. This is all smoke, no fire. Okay. List of movies I watched from Amazon. Okay. Oh. So yeah, I've been gathering some movies to include in my video. This is the list so far. I'll go back through this. Because to talk about cosmic horror, you kind of have to talk about Lovecraft, because he was the pioneer. Even though he never personally claimed the name or that genre, he was still kind of created it. And thus is the life of Lovecraft. He didn't really get the recognition that he deserved until after he died. Um, so, yeah, to talk about cosmic horror, there are a lot of modern filmmakers that are creating cosmic horror without directly adapting Lovecraft, which I love modern day cosmic horror. The I guess pioneers, or the ones that are doing it the best right now, are Benson and Moorhead. Um, the Doug Benson and Aaron Moorhead, I think, off the top of my head. They made The Endless, they made Resolution, they made Spring, they made Synchronic, they made Something in the Dirt, and they just know how to do cosmic horror perfectly. They're kind of the modern day cosmic horror geniuses. Their most recent, they also worked on the Moon Knight and Loki, so that's kind of what they've been doing more recently. I think the last movie they put out was Something in the Dirt. That might have been 2022. And then they worked on the TV shows, and then I'm sure they're working on another project right now. Actually, let's see. Let's see what they're up to these days. So, yep, Something in the Dirt was the most recent film that they did. They also did a segment on VHS Viral. VHS Viral is the worst of the VHS franchise. It's been a while since I've seen it, but they did the segment Bone Storm, and then yeah, Spring, The Endless, Synchronic, Something in the Dirt. Kind of a stellar filmography, if you ask me. 7 films under their belt. They also have producer credits on other films. This Descendant movie has been on my watch list for a while. I didn't realize they're producers. They didn't really make the film. But I don't know if they signed off on it, if they backed it, it might actually be pretty good. Okay, so they've been directing. Yeah, they directed Archive 81, a couple episodes, and then they directed Moon Knight. I have not watched Moon Knight. I watched Archive 81. They did some episodes of Loki, and then they've been doing Daredevil Born Again, which I've been meaning to watch. They've done a handful of episodes. I guess maybe they're not quite working on a new film yet. Anyway, they're a great modern day cosmic horror creators. Welcome in. Just quite a few people pop in. If you're new here, this is Nonstop Horror. We talk about horror movies all year long. I'm currently researching a video on cosmic horror, so that's what we're researching. I was just sitting here, just researching and not doing much else, and figured that I would just go live and chat with you guys about horror movies and cosmic horror. While I'm doing it, might as well go live and just chat with you guys. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. We talk about horror movies all year long. A lot of my videos are streaming platform lists, so best horror movies on Prime, Netflix, Shudder, Tubi, all the streaming services. So that's a bulk of my content, but I'm just trying to diversify and talk about other subjects, go a little bit deeper, diving deeper into certain aspects of horror. So In this video that I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to go back as far as the 60s with The Haunted Palace, which was a Lovecraftian adaptation. Then we get into, like, some people say that Alien has cosmic horror aspects to it. It's a little bit more solidified in its villain and what is happening to the crew for me to, like, kind of sign on to saying that it's cosmic horror, but I'm still navigating that idea. And Reanimator was made in the 80s, which is a direct adaptation. He has a novel titled Herbert West Reanimator, but it's more along the lines of like comedy and dark comedy, not necessarily cosmic horror. But I took it off the 80s list, and the From Beyond is a direct adaptation. Not sure about the Evil Dead quite yet, because those are more straightforward, like zombie films, but they involved the Necronomicon, which was created by Lovecraft. Um, we have Possession, which is a wild, surreal, just fuckfest of a movie. We head into the 90s and we got In the Mouth of Madness, Cast a Deadly Spell. Casted a Deadly Spell is, I feel like, gets lost to time. It's a great, like, noir, magic filled, like, mystery film. That's a direct adaptation of Lovecraft movie. I hate saying adaptation, it's such a weird word. Event Horizon is a sci-fi movie that more tinkers with the idea of, like, we don't know exactly what the villain is. We can't comprehend it. The way more cosmic than Alien, if you ask me. And then Dark Waters was also lost to time. It's kind of a nun, based around a nun, so it's like nunsploitation along with cosmic horror, which is really fun. And I'm gonna have this, like, companion, like, probably like a companion blog post or website page that I'll include in the video, have people follow along with, because it'll have a list of the movies that I talk about, and it'll have a list of the movies that I'm talking about and also where they're streaming, so that'll be helpful. That's proven to be helpful in my previous videos, especially with most people watch my content on TVs, surprisingly, like above 55% over the lifetime of my channel. So I just put a little QR code on the screen and people can take a picture of it with their camera or scan it with their phone's camera. It takes them right to the page. I really like that aspect of my channel, that I started incorporating once I found out that most people were watching on a TV. So I'll have this little companion blog post that people can follow along in the video with. In the 2000s, we get The Mist, which has one of the worst endings to a horror movie, most brutal endings to a horror movie. The Call of Cthulhu I talked about already. The black and white silent film Dagon is a direct adaptation of Lovecraft. And it's in the 2010s that we start getting people who are creating cosmic horror without kind of riding on the coattails of Lovecraft, because you can only do that for so long, right, before it's just getting overdone, the adaptations, especially when people are redoing Hickman's model and Color Out of Space. Like, let's bring a little more originality to the genre. And that starts happening in the 2010s. We got The Void. Color Out of Space is an adaptation. The Lighthouse is vaguely cosmic horror, which is another surreal, very trippy film, black and white, although not silent. Banshee Chapter takes one of Lovecraft's stories and kind of reshapes the narrative a little bit. The Endless by Benson Moorhead, which also ties into their film Resolution. Coherence is one of the best sci-fi mindfuck movies ever, slash doppelganger horror. And yeah, Coherence, if you haven't seen Coherence, like, you got to get on that right away. Black Mountainside is a hidden gem, which I should note here. Black Mountainside and The Beach House. The Beach House is an interesting film that I found on Shudder, which is cosmic horror. Whisper in the Darkness is a direct adaptation of Lovecraft, and then They Remain, which got a lot of hate when it came out. But I'll go further into some of these movies. I gotta whittle this down because it's gonna be a Cosmic Horror 101 video, so I don't want to get too in depth quite yet. So it's just gonna be like an overview of the genre and how to ease into it as a viewer and get a good understanding of it within like at most 15 minutes. I feel like a 101 video shouldn't be much longer than that. So we'll see how it plays out once I outline it and get everything written. And then the 2000s has had some interesting cosmic horror. The Empty Man is just one of the best horror movies ever made. The opening scene of The Empty Man, which spans like 20 minutes, could be a short horror film in and of itself. Underwater. Kristen Stewart is in that, and she is phenomenal, and it ends up being, I guess, kind of spoiler alert, but not, because of the poster of the film shows a monster on it, but it ends up being tied to Cthulhu. They're in an underground, I don't know if it's specifically an oil rig, but some sort of like industrial complex down at the bottom of the ocean, and their drilling awakens a monster, which ends up being Cthulhu. Great. Underwater is perfect if you love Cloverfield and you're looking for that same type of like creature feature. Strange Harvest came out last year. I think it might be technically 2024, but it was widely released last year. True crime, murder, serial killer mockumentary that ends up having lots of ties to cosmic horror. So Strange Harvest was really awesome from last year, from the same guy who did Grave Encounters, Stuart Ortiz, part of the Vicious Brothers. Glorious, I'm not as fond of. Didn't really click with me. But I'm going to, for that one, and Color Out of Space, just for the hell of it, I'm going to color them purple because they both just make me think of neon colors. Suitable Flesh, I think we already talked about. Joe Lynch did that one. Something in the Dirt, another just kind of like, what the fuck are we doing here kind of movie from Benson and Moorhead. That's one thing that I think may turn off people from cosmic horror, and I need to find out a way to twist it so that it doesn't scare people off, but a lot of times the ending of these films is just very vague. You don't get straight answers, which can be frustrating. I'm gonna throw up a poll for you guys. Favorite cosmic horror movie? This will help me get a good gauge on what you guys like. So if you're on, I just started the poll for if you're on the horizontal stream. Make sure to vote for your favorite cosmic horror since 20. Actually, I put 2020. I meant since 2010. So I'll fix that for the vertical. You'll start a vertical. Favorite cosmic horror since 2010. What was the other one? fun little poll that you can participate in if you're watching. So yeah, those are the movies that I'm thinking of including. There's this one called The Demon, which is a hidden gem. I want to include hidden gems because, I mean, in general, I like talking about hidden gems. So, but yeah, I have a lot of resources here that I'm going to be going over, talking about the best cosmic horror movies, and yeah, I feel like I have a pretty good idea of how I'm going to shape the video. Like I said, I'll do like a brief overview of Lovecraft. We'll go through the decades and talk about the cosmic horror movies and how they've kind of changed and adapted. I kind of want to do like a little opening graphic for each film, title and just title it. Um, like have a little blurb that's like this movie is basically if this movie and this movie had a baby, which I think is kind of neat. But maybe that's just me. That's what I find interesting. We'll define cosmic horror, obviously, and then we'll differentiate it between regular old supernatural horror and also just straight sci-fi horror. I think that's the hardest thing to do with cosmic horror. They overlap for sure, but I think that there's just a certain like vibe and theme of cosmic horror that separates it even from straight cosmic or straight sci-fi horror or supernatural horror. So that'll be fun. I found this list also, an IMDb list, because this is what I love to nerd out about. I just find as many resources as I can. So I found this list on IMDb, just another Lovecraftian and cosmic horror movies. No particular order for this person. But yeah, I was reading the description. It all contain the essence of cosmic horror in general. Shout out to this guy, Baz Popiolek. Not sure how to pronounce that. So it's in no particular order. Movies we've already talked about. Hellraiser, I didn't really talk about yet. The Ritual. Another big aspect of cosmic horror is like the cult aspect. A lot of times it's these secret, mysterious cults who are praising the old ones and these ungodly creatures. So, in the Endless, you have the UFO cult. So then there's like even small ties to folk horror. But again, it's just like a certain mashup of all of that. It Follows, The Last Winter. Not sure if I've seen it. Are you guys vibing with the music? I like whatever this is right here. This is still part of the album Music for Reading Lovecraft. 55 minutes long. I just randomly typed into YouTube like cosmic horror music because I just wanted something without vocals so that I could focus. And this came up, except I'm not sure how much I'll dive into this artist because it looks like it's AI and I hate that. At least the album covers. But I really like this collection of music. In the polls so far, Coherence and Color Out of Space are kind of neck and neck. Coherence is such a good film. it's probably top 10 for, even though it definitely rides the line right between just sci-fi thriller, mystery, and horror. I consider it a horror film. You can fight me. So, where were we? Oh, yeah, this list, this IMDb list. Life Force, you know, the space vampires. Possession, we talked about. Beyond the Black Rainbow. This is an interesting film to talk about. Let me know if you've seen Beyond the Black Rainbow and if you enjoy it. Also, I got about 20 minutes into the film, and I abandoned it because I just feel like I have to be in a certain mood, place, mindset to watch that film. It's so bizarre and surreal, that I couldn't really get into it at the time. Sunshine, love it. Cillian Murphy is amazing in that movie, and it's also the same crew that did 28 Days Later. Talked about The Lighthouse, Spring, Cthulhu. Stalker. Yeah, I haven't seen Stalker. 1979. Let's open it up. A guide leads two men through an area known as the Zone to find a room that grants wishes. Let's see. If this list is specifically horror, let's see what IMDb lists it as. Yeah, horror isn't even in the genre description on um, IMDb. So, maybe a little bit stretch of the definition. Is this movie good though? Made by Tarkovsky. Interesting. Very slow. Okay. Why did Andrei Tarkovsky seem like a bigger name? Maybe it's Solaris that I'm thinking of that I recognize him from, really. Yeah, I haven't seen Stalker. It's rated an 8.0 on IMDb though, which says a lot. Let's read a few reviews. Imagine listening to a cheap philosophical audiobook while walking through an exhibition of art, photography, and depressive motifs. That's a really long review. So maybe I'll skip that one. A unique visionary film. Mesmerizing, intelligent, and haunting, yet overlong and inconsistent. You are the universe. This mesmerizing one, yet overlong and inconsistent. How long is it? Oh, nearly 3 hours. Looks like it's on HBO. Oh, it didn't. Did Tarkovsky, does he have a book series? Is that why I recognize him? No. Who am I thinking of? Side tangent. I am thinking of Adrian Tchaikovsky. Adrian Tchaikovsky, who did Children of Time. Okay, hopefully no one blames me for for getting those two mixed up. Um, I like Letterboxd reviews. Let's see what Letterboxd people say about Stalker. Yeah, it's a very similar name. Okay. There's no need to speak. You must only concentrate and recall all your past life. When a man thinks of the past, he becomes kinder. Near a gray and unnamed city is the Zone, a place guarded by barbed wire and soldiers, and where the normal laws of physics are victim to frequent anomalies. A stalker guides two men into the Zone, specifically to an area in which deep-seated desires are granted. Okay. Whoa, it averages a 4.4 on Letterboxd, which says much more to its quality than the IMDb score, I think. Some of the best cinematography and atmospheric landscaping. That's something I love is atmosphere and cinematography, the way things are shot. So yeah, it could be something that I dig. Um, the story kind of flew over my head a bit. It felt slow and hard to follow at points. He's seen it a few times, this user that I follow. And his first watch through was a 3.5, and then he changed it to a 5. So maybe it's a movie that requires some rewatching. I will add it to my watch list though, even though it's not horror. All right, back to our list here. Black Mountainside. Like I said, that's a kind of a hidden gem that no one really talks about. The Dunwich Horror is from the 70s. Sacrifice. Norwegian film. Not sure I've even heard of this one. 4.7 on IMDb. Not necessarily a skip this movie type of rating. They encounter a cult worshipping a sea deity. Oh, Barbara Crampton is in it. She's a frequent collaborator in Lovecraft type movies. Who is she? I'm guessing she's like cult leader or something. This could be a good one to check out. Let's jump over to Just Watch. Sacrifice. Yeah, it's on Prime Video, so maybe I'll add it to that. I'll add it to my Cosmic Horror list and my watch list. Yeah, Barbara Crampton is like movie royalty. All right, so it's on my watch list and in my Cosmic Horror list as well. Yeah, it's only got 3,000 reviews on IMDb, so hidden gem potential. Yeah, look, she's in Suitable Flesh, which we just talked about, which is also in this cosmic horror realm. She's in From Beyond, Reanimator. She was in Your Next, We Are Still Here. 89 movie credits. Still very active for how long she's been in the biz. Chopping Mall, Puppet Master, Castle Freak, Space Truckers. Space Truckers. Has anybody here seen Space Truckers? This seems silly. Will I get in trouble if I play the trailer? Hello there, Octopus.
In the year 2196.
Just lost contact with Command Post 3 outside the second perimeter.
It's right outside! Someone has developed
Turn that up a little bit for you guys.
destructive force. All they need is a man who'll deliver.
What have you got?
It is a rush shipment to Earth.
No questions asked.
We'll do it.
Geez, I've never seen trailers like these before. They look,
Creepy.
You better power down, Canyon.
CGI on point. Hey Octopus, thanks for subscribing. Welcome in.
You gotta tell us how to stop these things.
Dennis Hopper, Stephen Dorff, and Debbie Mazar. Fire it up! Space Truckers.
That movie seems outrageous. But outrageous can be fun. Big Lovecraft fan, have an Elder Sign tattoo. Oh, that's awesome. You have a favorite Lovecraft work or a cosmic horror movie? Alright, we got sidetracked again. We are back to the list. That looked terrible. It definitely did. The CGI is so dated even for that time. And Dennis Hopper, I kind of look at him as like Nick Cage in a way, where he can just come off as very out there and unhinged in a lot of his movies. Definitely one that I would watch with my wife because we love watching just stupid ass movies together. Let me turn the music back on and make sure it's at a reasonable level. Hopefully that's good. There's a movie we watched recently. At the Mountains of Madness, yeah. So, I don't know if you've seen this documentary. Let me pull it up. I don't know why it doesn't come up when I search it. When I search within Tubi, it doesn't pop up, but when I just do Fear of the Unknown Tubi. When I search it into Google, it pops up. I just watched this documentary on Lovecraft, and I loved it. It was made in 2008. Yeah, they just kind of chronicle his life along with his talk about his influence and his works. And they kind of mentioned that at the Mountains of Madness is like a combination of all these things that he was perfecting over the years. So I'm curious if you would agree with that, and how you like. Obviously, you think it's at the top of your list there, but this is just a very interesting documentary that I will point people to it in the larger video. I'll just be like, because I don't want to go, it's a brief overview, Cosmic Horror 101, so I don't want to go too deep into Lovecraft. So I'm just going to tell people like, hey, if you want more information, go watch this documentary. It's free, obviously. And yeah, obviously it's almost 20 years old, so there could be more to be said about him since, especially with the advent of non-Lovecraft inspired cosmic horror. But this is a good starting place for sure. A little trick I found too with Tubi that I don't think is necessarily a thing for all streaming services. I still have to test this out. But if you type in like a certain subgenre, it'll give you all of those. Not subgenre. It'll just give you movies in that subgenre. Found footage horror. And then it's only found footage. Slasher horror. I don't think other streaming services are that good at differentiating between the two. Like, I'll even try Shudder really quick. Gotta log in. Alright. Maybe, like, let's see Cosmic Horror. Yeah, see, I'm in. Alright, I'm just gonna pull this over. Because, so I typed in Cosmic Horror into Shudder. Doesn't really know what I'm talking about. Like, come on, bro, you're Shudder. Or they just don't have any cosmic horror, but like Color Out of Space should be at the top of this, of the top of these results. But it's not. If I just go to Slasher Horror. Okay, that's fair. But yeah, like, I just typed in Slasher Horror and it brought up Slasher, the TV series. But again, these top things, like this is folk horror. This is a bunch of documentaries. Baskin showed up on both searches for some reason. So it's like, if anyone from Shudder is watching, if you're one of the 8 viewers watching this live stream, you gotta fix that, bro. I know Tubi has a lot of gusto behind it because they are Fox. They're owned by Fox. But you'd think a streaming service dedicated to horror would be able to separate them out when you search for it. And like when you go to collections, you could just go to Slashix. And then they have 16 movies. What's another subgenre? Folk horror. Yeah. So Tubi Tubi is kind of the GOAT. Let's see. Possession. Horror. Ooh. Godless, the Eastfield Exorcism. I gotta add that to my list. Also on the back burner is a video where I'm going to watch a certain amount of Tubi original horror movies and kind of rate them and let you know if you should watch them. So I'm just always looking for the Tubi originals. Dunwich Horror, yeah, I think it was on from 1970. Now I'm not going to be able to find it that we're talking about it. Or was it in the folk horror? It might have been in the folk horror. Search results. Dunwich Horror. I don't want to get in trouble. I know that Dunwich Horror. And on Tubi on the desktop, I know that the movie starts playing as soon as you click on it, rather than just going to an info page. But this Dunwich Horror is 2009. That one's 2009. I think this one is from this 1970. Yeah. So that one's been done a few times. Yeah, some of his works have been adapted many times. I saw many for Pickman's model come up. Let's go back to Cosmic Horror. Cool. I was just thinking we haven't had an adaptation of At the Mountains of Madness, which is kind of interesting. But apparently Guillermo del Toro has been trying to make something. I don't know, how do you feel about Guillermo del Toro making that? Are you kind of an old school horror movie person? Do you like modern horror? 'Cause, you know, like movies like The Void and The Endless. Too expensive. Well, how much was Frankenstein? Frankenstein's budget was 120 million. Although was it rated R? I would imagine so. Yeah. I don't know, man, with the success of Frankenstein, maybe this is his time. $120 million for that. Yeah. I don't know. Frankenstein. I really liked Frankenstein. and I wasn't expecting to. And the thing that tainted my idea of it, for sure, was that it was straight to Netflix. I know it had a small theatrical release, but I was like, man, if this is a straight to Netflix type of deal, maybe it's not that good, but it blew me away. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. But Letitia, what do you usually watch horror movies on? What streaming service? All right, I'm back. Had a quick phone call. No Country for Old Men is amazing. Kind of one of those films that some people argue is like right over the line into horror, but I don't quite agree with that. But it's still like definitely top 50 movies of all time. Communion. I love space horror and alien horror in general. Okay, so Netflix mostly. Alright. Netflix isn't always the best for horror, but if you have access to Tubi, like I highly suggest using it. There are ads, yes, but even Prime Video and Netflix. Oh, nice. Yeah, I try to find the hidden gems in there so that people, because the void is so good. If my videos reach people who are as big a horror fan as me, like there's a good chance that they've seen a lot of the films that I've seen, so I really try to dig deep and find those hidden gems. So I'm glad that you've found a few that you haven't seen. Yeah, Little Bone Lodge was I believe that was a 2B one. It's a 2B original. It's also called The Last Exit. Yeah, the Void is, for how low the budget was on the Void, it's so good. I think it was $100,000. The Void movie. Canadian, shout out Canadians. Oh, the creature effects were crowdfunded, right? Not a huge box office either for how good it is. Made in Canada, budget was a little over, I thought it was 100,000. This is stating 82,000, but maybe it's not. Maybe their numbers weren't very public. Do you have like a favorite top 5, Letitia? Or a certain subgenre that you're really into? I guess the film was, looks like they ran into a lot of issues making it. Gillespie later declared The Void was a difficult production, noting that every single thing was the biggest challenge. It was a soul-crushing nightmare. Everybody was pushed to the limit on this movie. The one ray of hope we got was the cast, which came together at the last second. They were easy to deal with. Strange Harvest is absolutely cosmic horror. I have it on my list of movies that I'm going to be including right here for the 2020s. Yeah, Strange Harvest is up there. Spooky Astronauts is great, yeah. I like watching Emma's videos. Strange Harvest was good. I can't remember off the top of my head where it landed in my top 10. I think I might have done like a top 13 just to stay on theme with my channel, but I think Strange Harvest was for sure top 13. I don't remember where it was though. I'd have to go back and look at my notes. Yeah, Strange Harvest is a good example of modern day filmmakers making cosmic horror without riding the coattails of Lovecraft, because that's not a Lovecraft adaptation. Also not so heavy-handed with the cosmic horror. It very slowly reveals the cosmic aspect of it and doesn't really reveal itself completely until the end. And you still kind of wonder if the dude is crazy or if there's something larger going on. Cold Storage, yeah, that's a brand new one. I haven't quite gotten to it yet. But I believe it's on my 2026 horror list. Maybe it's not on here yet. Huh. Thanks for the reminder, Darren. Okay, so not big into gore. That's good to know. You're not gonna be watching the Terrifier movies anytime soon, probably. So, Cold Storage. Comedy horror. Wasn't on my list yet, but there we go. Did you watch it in theaters or did you rent it, Darren? Wonder if there are any movies coming out this year that seem like they're gonna be cosmic horror. I can't wait to see Undertone. It makes me think of Monolith. Where did it go? Makes me think of Monolith. Right, rented it. I like the music too. I basically just, this is YouTube music just playing soundscapes for reading. Oh yeah, it's still this same playlist. But yeah, this artist has a playlist called Music for Reading Lovecraft, which is perfect for this. And I'm into metal already anyway, so this is perfect. But Undertone feels like Monolith. Monolith is another podcast-centered, eerie, psychological horror. Can't wait to see Undertone. I think it comes out this weekend. Cold Storage does count. All right, I might add that. I might watch it and see if it fits into that. Because I loved in the Cosmic Horror 101 video that I'm making, it would be nice to give like a, this is what the landscape looks like moving forward. So I'll have to watch that and see what I think. Popular. We're just gonna look at every horror movie coming out this year, whether I have it in a list or not. Cosmic horror. What is this? It's not a test of. Chick looks like J-Lo. Not J-Lo. It's a zombie movie, not necessarily cosmic horror. Beneath the Light. Oh, this is a brand new one streaming on Prime, which I do have it on this list. A man with a haunted past takes a job repairing an abandoned lighthouse that's only reachable by boat. His feelings of isolation and uneasiness grow as he starts to see the strange apparition of a young girl that he somehow recognizes. Has cosmic horror potential, being in a lighthouse and near the sea. That's driving him crazy. we'll have to see about that one. Ooh, yeah, Whistle is like the next movie that I'm planning on watching. Kind of sucks that you didn't like it, but we'll have to see what I think. Yeah, literally loaded up to watch here. So, Darren, I was gonna say if you liked cold storage, if you like that type of like fungus, weird bacteria type of movie, and also I'm not sure how funny or what type of comedy Cold Storage is, but if it's on the goofier side of comedy, which kind of seems like a redundant statement. But if it's like wacky humor, you also might like Scared Shitless, which is on Prime Video. It's just as outrageous as it sounds. Scared Shitless. Good luck, have fun, don't die. I really want to see. I love Sam Rockwell. That's a movie that I definitely want to see with my friends. Because I've heard it's just that type of sounds like that type of movie for me. Also, I love that Just Watch has these little blurbs from people who are in the movie suggesting why you should watch their movie. Which it's like, obviously they're not going to say anything bad about the movie, but Sam Rockwell himself says, a great cast, a great script, and a legendary director. If you love Back to the Future, Time Bandits, 12 Monkeys, The Fisher King, and Everything Everywhere All at Once, I think you'll like this. It's a great part with a great cast and a great script, and Gore Verbinski is a legendary director, so being part of this film was a no-brainer. Alright. Gore Verbinski himself says it's a date night movie. Alright, let's head back to... Actually, let's see, what time is it? 2:15. I gotta get something to eat. So I think I'm actually going to end the stream right there. I'm probably gonna do more of these. I hope they're not so much random, but like more frequent streams where even if it's just me talking shit with you guys, because I'm just sitting here by myself researching and talking about horror movies anyway in my mind, so I might as well just bring you guys along for the journey. And I'll probably continue to research this Lovecraft video, bring you guys alongside. There are some video games that I want to play that I know would be great for streaming. I just got to set up a time to do that, but yeah, I just want to spend more time with you guys in a live environment because I love the live aspect. I love chatting with you guys. So yeah, look forward to that. Make sure you're subscribed. I will announce in the YouTube channel posts when I'm going live, and I will also, if you turn on bell notifications, obviously you'll be notified when I get on. But yeah, hoping to hit 15K soon within the next month or two. That'd be awesome. So share with your friends who also like horror movies. But yeah, I think I'm going to end the stream there. Appreciate you guys chatting and hanging out with me today. Yeah.